The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. In the past 40 years, there has been a significant increase in the amount of dystopian novels. These dystopian novels have been written from movements for civil rights to feministic ideas. The Handmaid's Tale, written in 1985 by Margaret Atwood, is a prime example of a dystopian novel. The key difference that sets it apart from most is rather than calling it science fiction, Atwood calls it science speculation because it is a dystopian future. She created this novel to what she thinks could happen if society continues how it is. Therefore, she uses things from the real world but amps it up to make a point. The Handmaid's Tale starts with a woman named Offred, who is just separated from her family because of the war. She meets with other women wearing the same red outfit as her. This signifies that they are fertile and they are handmaids. The handmaids are used throughout the book to provide kids to the high-powered male commanders whose wives are infertile. As time goes by in the book, you start to see the handmaids' lack of rights due to the new government and the commanders from war. The men have all the power and manipulation is very present. Offred needs to do extreme things to make the men happy. Therefore, where there is power and manipulation, there is also resistance. This is because they realize their lack of freedom and their thoughts are consumed with how good it used to be. Offred especially yearns for her rights back, but with the strict environment, hardly anything can be done. Human decency is non-existent, and they'll do anything they can to defy the power. As stated earlier, a war took place in their home of Gilead. This created a new government to supposedly suppress violence, when in reality it was institutionalizing it. The Handmaid's Tale has the new government implement it by putting these powerful male commanders in charge. They control what they eat, say, and the government decides what they wear. When the commanders are with the handmaids, they can do anything and the handmaids could get in trouble. These women live in fear and desire for freedom every day. In the book, Offred is whispering to her friend about one of her 3 classes she is allowed to take. Her friend says she wrote about date rape in her English class. Offred responds with, "Date rape? You're so trendy, it sounds like some kind of dessert. Date raping." From this, one can see how downplayed rape is because how much it happens to them. It shows the commander's power and manipulation from the help of the new government. However, not only does the government evoke rape, but it also creates an environment impossible for self-expression, which ties into all their red clothing. They have a label on them at all times. Another example of this is the commander taking advantage of Offred. He tells her to sneak into his room at night, knowing she could get in trouble. She doesn't want to go because she could get punished, but as she's contemplating, she says to herself, but to refuse to see him could be worse. There's no doubt about who holds the real power. She knows anything she does, she could be spied on because of the new government, and if she messes up, she knows she'll be punished. Therefore, we can see who holds the power and who can manipulate who. In the book, the handmaids represent the women of the real society who are trapped under men and the government. They are fighting for rights, equality, and they support feminism. This is shown through their grabs for power and resistance to the high-powered men and the sexist government. Atwood wrote this book with the hopes of opening people's eyes and exploding the ideas present in society. In a PBS interview with Atwood, she says, "Somebody asked me on Twitter recently, 'How have you come up with this stuff?' My response was, 'It's not me who has come up with it, it's the human race over the past 4,000 years.' This shows that she wrote the book based on what she's observed and what she thought could happen. This is why she made Offred so resistant to the government and the commanders in the book. Offred says, "I've crossed no boundaries, I've taken no risks, all is safe. It's the choice that terrifies me. A way out, a salvation." This quote is her self-reflection when she is at her monthly doctor's appointment. Her doctor offers her sex even when it is against the rules. She declines, which shows her resistance, and also she did not want to be punished. Another time she wants to resist is when she says, "I don't want to see it. I don't want to look at something that determines me so completely." This is a quote from Offred before she bathes. She hates the sight of her body because she feels as though being naked is immodest and shameful. She remembers how she used to expose herself in bathing suits at the beach. She didn't think or care about it because she didn't have the thought of being stuck wearing full-body red outfits or being raped. Now she feels immoral with herself. This shows how affected her and the handmaids are because of the environment created, but also how much they want to resist. In conclusion, the dystopian future created by Margaret Atwood's observations produces an almost real-life society that, if we were to continue our ways of life, could occur now. Atwood wrote The Handmaid's Tale with the hopes of bringing the problems and the sexist society to the attention of humanity. In The Handmaid's Tale, every choice made determines one's future, let that be with or without consequences. Throughout the book, one can see the manipulation of power with the help of the new government and the commanders. Also, one can see the handmaid's desire for resistance through their thoughts and tries for action.